Surah Taha, verse 5, Allah says, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arshi istawa. The merciful had istawa upon the throne. What's the correct understanding of this ayah of the Quran? Wal-jawab, anna al-ayata min al-mutashabihat. Our answer is very simple. This verse of the Quran where Allah says that He has istiwa upon the throne, or where He says wajhullah, which literally translates as face, or yadullah, which literally translates as hand. These are what we call mutashabihats. Mutashabihats. What are mutashabihats? What are mutashabihats? Mutashabihats, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions them in the Quran. Allah ta'ala says that this Quran, minhu ayatum muhkamat, it has clear-cut verses. Hunna ummul kitab, they are the majority of the book. Wa ukharu mutashabihat. But there are other verses which are mutashabih, ambiguous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, continuing on in the next verse, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. Nobody knows their interpretation except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what do the believers do? وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ يَقُولُونَ آمَنَّا بِهِ. Those who are well grounded in knowledge and believe in Allah, they say, we believe in whatever Allah has mentioned, without ascribing physicality to Allah, without interpreting it literally. They do not look for ta'wil. They do, or a ta'wil which is not la'iq of Allah. They do not look for physical meanings and ascribe them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they say, amanna bi, we believe in it. Allah has said it, we believe it. We don't know what it means. Allah knows what it means, Jalla Jalaluh. We do not know what it means, but we believe in whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned. This is what we call the opinion of tafweed. Tafweed, to assign the knowledge to Allah. And this is the madhab of the Salaf al-Salihin. The Sahaba, Tabi'een, Atba'u Tabi'een, we call them the Salaf. This is their opinion. They assigned its knowledge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never did they ascribe the physical meaning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They never interpreted wajh to mean a literal face. And they never interpreted yad to mean a literal hand. And they never interpreted istiwa to mean julus, physically sitting. And we will show how the Salaf never did that. Okay? And the reason why they never did that is because mutashabihat, these ambiguous verses of the Quran, it is not possible for us to take them as an evidence to establish any matter. Why? Because we do not know their meanings. We do not know their meanings. Their meaning is ascribed by Allah Ta'ala Himself has said it to us in the Quran, مَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. Nobody knows the interpretation but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the waqf is there in all of the qira'at mutawatira. All of the mutawatir qira'at, the waqf is there. Nobody knows their ta'wil except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when something is unknown, how can you use that as an evidence to establish something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Alongside the fact that these ayat mutashabihat, يجب أن تفهم على أساس التنزيه. The ayat mutashabihat must be understood on the basis of other verses of the Quran which are clear in their dalala. What are those verses of the Quran? Allah Ta'ala tells us, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There is nothing like Him. So Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us the clear principle to understand all of His attributes. Jalla Jalal. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There is nothing like Him in any way, shape or form. This is why Allah uses the word mithl, mumathala. You know the word mithl, it means to have mushabaha, to have similarity from any perspective. So Allah says there is no similarity to Him from any perspective, Jalla Jalalu. That's the meaning of laysa kamithlihi shay. I will show from the ayat of the Quran. So this is why we cannot take the mutashabihat of the Quran and interpret them literally, because they must be understood in line with the other verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's book, where Allah Azza wa Jal Himself has negated similarity from Himself, Jalla Jalaluhu. And other ayat of the Quran. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, هَلْ تَعْلَمُ لَهُ سَمِيًّا. Do they know a like for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Sami again means mithl. It means, do you know anybody who has any similarity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So the ayat mutashabihat, these ambiguous verses, cannot be taken as an evidence, okay, to establish anything physical for Allah. The most we can say is they are thabit in the Quran and the Sunnah, and we believe in them as they have been mentioned. And this is the madhab of the Salaf, ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in, without ascribing any physical meaning. Okay? We continue then. وما يكون ذلك لا يصلح دليلا على أمر قطعي والدلائل العقلية تخالفه. The Imam explains, these ayat, if we were to understand them physically and literally, they are against all evidences of our logic. They are against all logical evidences. Because every single logical evidence which are definitive, قطعي عقلي دلائل, they are all clear in telling us that we cannot have any attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which is understood in a physical or a literal manner. Because that incites or that invites Allah ta'ala to have similitude to his creation. And Allah has negated that from himself, Jalla Jalalu. And if you say that he subhanahu wa ta'ala possesses physicality, or that his attributes are literal, then he is a mahal of hawadith. He is a locus of temporal existences. If he has temporal existences inside of himself and he is prone to change, then he cannot be khaliq. He cannot be the creator, Jalla Jalaluhu. So therefore we cannot ascribe anything physical for him. على أن مذهب السلف الذين كانوا متجشمين بخرط القتاد وعرق القربة في إظهار ما هو الحق في أمر الدين في المتشابهات التصديق والتفويض تأويلها إلى الله تعالى. The Imam explains, the madhab of the Salaf was, alongside their firmness in establishing the truth in the matters of deen, their opinion in the mutashabihat was what? التصديق والتفويض تأويله إلى الله. It was to verify their truth and to assign their literal meanings and their understandings to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without commenting on what they mean. That is the madhab of the Salaf. To believe them as they have mentioned without interpreting them literally and without commenting on their meaning. وَمَا ذَلِكَ. Why did they do that? Why did the Sahaba do that? وَمَا ذَلِكَ إِلَّا لِتَعَذُّرِ إِدْرَاكِهَا. They only did that because of the impossibility of knowing these ayats and knowing their meanings. Okay, that is the madhab of the Salaf, ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in. As Imam Abu Hanifa has demonstrated, we'll continue with that. I wish to demonstrate how this is the opinion of the Salaf from the texts of the Ahlul Hadith and the A'imma of Islam.